So it was like a Minnesota mosh pit?
Yeah, Minnesota nice pit. Exactly.
What, they were passive aggressive with each
Yeah,
other?
sure. Super. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Are you okay? Okay. Just making sure you're okay.
Welcome to the More Than Just Dumbbells podcast. My name is still Jason Lindsay.
And my name is still Kitty frickin' Truax.
Kitty, how did you sleep last night?
Actually didn't sleep very much at all.
Why?
Went to a Playboy Cardi concert. Took my 14-year-old little brother to rock and roll with his bad self.
So, the name of the band or the artist?
Oh, one artist.
One artist.
One artist.
Male, female?
Male.
Playboy Cardi.
Playboy Cardi.
How old is Playboy Cardi?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I know he's got a baby with Iggy Azalea, though. He plays, I think it's called trap hop.
Trap. That's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
God, I'm getting old. Dan, it's...
I felt old. I did. It was incredible.
Did you feel like... See, you're old enough to be his mom. Did you feel like his mom?
No, I didn't feel like his mom.
No.
I felt like his big sister.
Yeah. But, I mean, did you... Okay. But you're like... There's moms your age
21 years
there.
apart, yeah. Well, yeah, there were moms there, absolutely, because he couldn't get in without me.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I really... Like I said, it was not a show that I would have gone to on my own. Don't sign me up for it. But being able to watch my 14-year-old little brother sing every single word and go into this high-energy mosh style, I was actually really impressed. So I used to go to corn concerts, like rock corn.
With a K?
With a K, yes.
Yeah.
And the moshing there was so much more rage than this type of a moshing. I was really impressed at how much... they all took care of each other, and it was really a cool vibration to be in.
So it was like a Minnesota mosh pit?
Yeah, Minnesota nice pit. Exactly.
What, they were passive aggressive with each
Yeah,
other?
sure. Super. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Are you okay? Okay. Just making sure you're okay.
Yeah, it
was legit. It was cool. I'm glad I went.
Well, that sounds awesome. I have not been to the Armory.
Great sound.
I almost went on my... it was one of my birthdays. I think it might have been... Prince died like April 21st of 16.
2016, yep.
So I think it was 17.
Okay.
Or 18. It was one of the year or two later. I happened to be on my birthday where they were doing a Prince show, like where you just watch video, like
I was
at
there.
the Armory.
I was there.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Was that a good time?
It was a phenomenal time.
Almost went. And
you
then,
missed out, man.
I know.
It was so legit.
I back out a lot of things, including Kitty and Entourage tonight.
Yeah, unfortunate for you, man.
And
Drinksgiving.
It's because I'm old and I have to go to bed. Anyway, so here's the deal.
Tell me. Let's make a deal.
Our topic today is, I'm looking forward to this, I think. But
nice segue.
I don't know how it's going to end. I don't really actually even know how it's going to begin. So you start by telling the audience, the listeners, what we're talking about, what we're diving into.
WTF is cryotherapy. Benefit or bullshit?
Benefit or bullshit of cryotherapy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Now, I remember the infrared sauna one, where I have definitely done an infrared sauna, been inside of one. I never have done cryotherapy.
Yes,
and I know that you have.
I have. And we are going to, at the end of this show, this episode, we're going to call a guy who owns a cryo, and he has for years. He owns a cryo business.
Can you tell him the name of it? Because it's good.
The name of the cryo business in Richfield, Minnesota, suburb of Minneapolis.
I know that.
Is Serial Chillers.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
I laughed. I called Dan to say that's the name. He chuckled. You laughed. It's everybody's.
Waka waka.
We're all same page. But I couldn't help but think, is that a little bit risky this day and age?
It is. I'll give it to him.
But then you got to play the odds. Do you know anybody who's been killed by a serial killer?
No.
Yeah. Dan, do you know?
Domestic abuse, yes.
I do
not
not
serial
know.
killer.
Yeah.
Not serial, no.
So did I ever tell you, and we'll get to cryo in a second, I promise this week. Did I ever tell you my mother dated a serial killer?
Stop.
Well, he wasn't a serial killer then.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And, it gets even creepier. This is 100% true. He stopped by our house before he was a serial killer.
Oh, my God.
Because he looked my mom up. It'd been years. And I was a kid. I was 5, 6, 7. And this happened. And my sister and I were home. I think it was summer. It had to have been. And my dad never called in sick. And he was home that day.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, he didn't go kill somebody the next day. So we'll never know if he'd stopped in to kill my mom. He might have just wanted to say hi. But you can look him up. He's the weepy voiced killer. This is a guy.
What the
Minneapolis.
actual F?
Yeah, look it up. Yep, was in my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I've met the guy. I
weepy
probably shook his hand.
voiced killer. Has he been on Crime Junkies, the podcast? Have
I don't
they done
know.
a story about
I don't
him?
know, but he died in
should get
prison.
a hold of
He died in
Cash
prison of
Flowers.
all things skin cancer in like 1998.
snarf.
It was the early 80s, mid 80s when he got caught. Okay.
Wow.
So here's the deal. You've never done cryo.
No.
Why not?
Just haven't had the opportunity. It hasn't really been on my radar, honestly. Have I heard about it? Yes. Especially, I know like 75 Hard has you do really cold showers. Wim Hof method came out, and he has you do, ice baths, things like that for muscle soreness, recovery, all that jazz.
What is if you know, and if you looked it up, please, tell the listeners, what is the whole concept behind it? Why is it something people are like, oh, it's the thing, or it's effective?
It's the thing. Apparently, it's supposed to really help skin conditions and arthritis, and it's supposed to be quite beneficial. A lot of times, some people say it can aid in weight loss. Not that it helps you to lose weight, but it helps your body or forces your body to work more hard, if you will. Ups your metabolism game. I didn't find any like legit, yes, this is it. Like you and I were talking about, it's not FDA approved. A lot of doctors are like, we don't have enough data to literally tell you if it's good or not.
Well, okay. Yeah, and no, they should by now, which tells me that they probably have decided that it's not effective in many areas. So let's go one at a time. What you said, skin
conditions.
I don't think that's the reason people use cryo. I don't know this for sure, but I don't think so. Let me say this.
Sure.
I have a friend who owned 2 cryo businesses. Not the guy we're going to call, not serial killers.
Okay.
A different friend. He's out of the business now, not for reasons that have anything to do with the efficacy of cryo. He's bought and sold and 100% convinced it is a great thing that everybody should do, or most people should do. But he got out after 5 years, and he's on to doing other things now. I think he actually consults and helps other cryo places.
Nice.
So I did go in the tank. I call it the tank.
The tank.
It's a sauna, they call it. It's cryo sauna, whatever. I've done it twice.
Whole body cryo? Was your whole body in the tank?
I don't. That's a good question. I'm up to your neck.
Okay, because I know they do facial cryo.
Yeah.
And they do also cryoablation, which is like warts and stuff like that. When you go in and get a wart frozen off.
Yeah.
That's called cryoablation.
So yeah, didn't do that.
No. You don't have any warts, Witch?
No.
Dang.
No. They're all gone. Back. So no. So here's the thing. I got in the sauna 2 different occasions about a year apart.
Okay.
So I want to make it clear that I didn't do it properly. I did it for the experience. The guy we're going to call here, it was his business, not serial killers. One that he didn't own. He worked
consultant.
for. He
Okay.
actually he worked for.
Oh.
And then he went and opened his own. We'll get all those details when we talk to him. But my friend who hadn't opened his 2 saunas yet knew this guy and wanted to do this and said, "Hey, I'm in town, Jason. I'll pay for you to do this." He insisted. I'm like, "I don't want you," because it's like $25 to be, just so you know, 212 below zero.
212 below zero Fahrenheit?
I might be off. It's 200 and something. Did you find that out?
I got -100 to -140 Celsius.
No, it's okay.
Celsius.
Yeah, but yeah. We're English here.
I get it. So that's why I'm saying Fahrenheit.
So over 200 degrees below zero, and
man,
and I did it.
I couldn't even fathom.
But it's for 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 to 5. I've heard. Yeah.
In this case, it was exactly 3.
Okay.
Or 3-ish. I mean, not like wasn't 5. And you put on these little socks, and you have just your underwear, and you wear a robe from the dressing room to the sauna. Then you take the robe off, so you're essentially just naked.
Okay.
Underwear, socks, and and they start it, and it gets cold, and it's not comfortable, and there are people, I guess, who can't do it.
Pregnancies, high blood pressure.
No, that's not. I didn't mean that. Yes, there's people who shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I meant people who can't do it. People who can't freaking handle it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I want people to know that. I don't want to dissuade people from looking into it, but just be prepared for what you're getting into.
For sure.
But I handled it fine. I think most people could. It was hard for me to, let me put it this way. After I did it, it was hard for me to fathom somebody absolutely saying, screw this. But at the same time, everybody's different. I can't go in the MRI thing. I check out claustrophobia. Can't do it. I couldn't do it. You'd have to put me under. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So people have, there's different. But from a comfortable, uncomfortable standpoint, but it's 3 minutes. It's kind of like, can you handle?
You're talking about a Minnesota right here. Like,
yeah.
If you're from Minnesota, you can chill. You can chill.
Yeah, sure. Maybe, maybe that's where people are having problems. Is like if they grew up and only lived in Arizona.
Right.
Well, anyway, so I did it once, and then I did it a couple years later. Same experience. So I can't speak to efficacy. Sorry.
Yeah, good one.
Sound like a swear word.
No.
Because I didn't do it like you're supposed to do it. I learned through my friend who had not the guy we're gonna call, but the other guy that had 5 years. It's like a workout. If you go to a cryo sauna one time, well, that's like going to the gym one time. Are you gonna be like, oh, I'm
buff,
me?
yeah.
Well, I'm cured.
Sure.
Here's the deal.
Yeah. How should you do it? Or
You
what's
should
the-
go 3 days a week
Oh.
or more.
Okay.
At least 3 days a week. I'm not even say 2. At least 3 days a week. We'll ask Brandon what he says, what he thinks.
Yeah.
You got to go on a regular basis, and you got to do it for a period of time. And I don't want to compare it to chiropractors because I think they're largely quacks. Oh boy, some of them probably aren't listening.
Quack, quack.
Does that make sense? You got to do it
Absolutely.
on
Just like working out.
Correct.
Yeah.
So here's where I think that it does have some legs.
Oh, let's run with it.
It's in almost every NFL team's
Yes.
place.
Kind of reminds me of an ice bath, like you and I were talking about, or an ice pack.
But it goes below that. So the whole theory behind it, I don't want to act like it. The theory behind it is you get that cold, it does things to your cells,
tissues,
that cause them to react in a way that recovers quicker, if that
Yes.
makes sense.
Yes.
More than just an ice bath. So I don't want to. I think if I owned a cryo business, I would be insulted when somebody said, "Oh, compare it to an ice bath or
Are
an
you
ice
yelling
pack."
at me?
No, but
Okay.
I think I think that if I owned a cryo sauna, I'd be like, "You don't know what you're talking about." So anyway, I think there is something for recovery.
Yes.
I think the notion that it's going to help you lose weight is silly.
Silly.
I think the skin thing, I don't,
I mean, I've had cryoablation on a wart, and it works. Skin
athletes doesn't have to be a pro athlete. People who want faster recovery, and people who are have chronic pain. I think that's who.
I hear it works with migraines as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's chronic pain.
Yeah.
I think that would be who it would be for. So I'm at where I'm going with this. I would say it's worth a shot in those scenarios.
Okay.
Any other scenario? I want to reduce aging. You're wasting your money.
I've heard that.
You're wasting your money.
Eczema, face problems. Like I said, there's facial cryotherapy.
Well, they have that localized stuff. Yeah, right. Where you're not going in the sauna, you're doing it more like with I don't know. They got
like a wand.
and then there's cool
Magic
sculpting and that's a whole.
I
other
hear
thing.
cool sculpting is not even close to cryo. Shouldn't even compare them.
Well, I'm not trying to compare them. They just a lot of cryo saunas have that service.
Okay, understood.
Because they make money off that. Because that one,
Makes sense.
People want to freeze off their fat or whatever the heck it's.
Does that
called.
work?
I doubt it, but
Okay.
I know another guy.
Should we go try it?
I know another guy who owns a cryo
You know
place.
everybody, Jason.
Yeah, clients.
Sheesh.
Fitness industry, there's sometimes a lot of crossover, and he makes all kinds of money off it. And when I ask him, he's not a charlatan. He doesn't say, "Oh, Jason, it's complete BS," but I make money off it. But I wouldn't expect him to say that because he is a nice guy. He says it works, but
Okay.
does it make sense that cool
Well,
sculpting
cool
would
sculpting.
work?
Okay, can you explain cool sculpting? Can I
Well-
just go sit outside in Minnesota in the middle of February and get the
No,
same effect?
again, this is Kitty. I'm not yelling at you, but you have to. Is Minnesota negative 200 degrees below zero? Okay.
No.
Then no. Okay. You have to get cold AF.
Okay, understood.
Localized cold AF. So again, well, that's Brandon, but I don't know, man. I just don't. Let me put it this way. I'm impressed that there's as many cryo businesses as there are, and that people do this. For as uncomfortable as
I can believe it fights inflammation. It helps your body, like you said, it makes your body work more difficult to recover faster, so to speak. So if you want to get back to working out sooner, if you want to avoid injury, if you want to, up your game in the fitness realm, cryotherapy might be good for you.
so. All right.
All right.
So, all right. So, who's it for again? Then, who do you think it's for?
Well, like you said, people in the fitness realm, not necessarily pro fitness people, but people that want to recover their muscles faster, people that have pain, inflammation, like it's chronic headaches, things like that, maybe skin conditions or cancerous cells. I heard liver, prostate, that kind of stuff.
So,
cervical.
my friend that owned the cryo businesses, I always would talk to him, and I wouldn't tell him how to run his business because I would understand it like he does. But I remember a lot of conversations about, it's take Power Block.
Let's.
By the way, we're sponsored by Power Block.
Powerblock.com
Yeah.
/podcast.
And let's take Power Block. Who's our customer? Like, who's Power Block for? Now, you can say, gosh, we've got 16-year-olds using it. and we've got 65-year-olds or 85-year-olds using
For
it.
sure.
And that's all true. But it's kind of like saying, who's Valley Fair for? Well, the same age group goes there. But who is the core? Like, who is that thick, meaty part of that? What age?
What's the demographic
There
we're
we go.
looking for?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
And in cryo, I would think it would be people over 60 that have pain, because there's a lot of people over 60 that have pain.
Yeah.
And I would think
from
that
inflammation, from joint pain. Yeah, absolutely.
yes, just from not treating their bodies properly for all these years. So that could be a remedy of sorts.
I can dig that.
And even if there's a placebo effect combined with some actual effect because of the temperatures that cause your body to react 3 days a week.
Placebos are powerful.
And where I'm going with this, I think that's who does use cryo, and I think that's who the bread and butter customer is. And remind me to ask, or you ask Brandon
For
that,
sure.
and let's see if he answers that properly, or I wouldn't say properly. Honestly, I don't want to. You get my point. It's like if he might not be ready for that question, but you'd think he would have demographic.
Well, I definitely want to know.
My thing about business owners
who
sometimes
is his highest clientele.
correct, but the thing about business owners, I think sometimes they don't like to. They figure if they're saying that, then they're a listener who's not that demographic.
They're alienating.
Yeah. And it's like
Putting them in a box.
I always say just double down on who the heck is interested versus worrying about alienating. But that's me,
That's you.
and it's imperative that no. Anyway, so what else we got?
Have you heard of the Wim Hof method?
No.
The breathing? Like
No.
the controlling your breathing while you are in an ice bath. Not that we're going back to ice bath cryo, comparing them, right?
No.
Because I would hate to piss you off. But with Wim Hof, I mean, I know a lot of people that I work along with that are in the fitness realm, yoga, things like that. They actually make holes in Lake Nokomis, Lake Bidé-Makaska, and they will go in the middle of winter and do ice baths and work on this Wim Hof breathing method. So I actually kind of started looking into that stuff, and that's what led me to cryotherapy, because you said it's a lot.
Certainly a less expensive way to.
Definitely. Yep. Make the most out of all of our seasons.
Right. Hey, free is good. I've just got to. I've never done the polar plunge, so let's just stop.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Side effects, and maybe we'll ask this of Brandon. Did you get any side effects at all?
No.
Numbness, tingling, skin irritation, redness, nothing like that?
No, and I don't think, talking to my friend Lane, who owned again for 5 years, I don't think it's very common that happens.
Just because it's like 3 to 5 minutes
yeah,
tops.
it's not long enough, and and one thing I would like to mention, just because I think it could probably come up if you Googled it. I mean, if you Googled this, if you Googled has anybody died, and it has happened.
Yes, it has.
But it was an employee.
I Googled that.
Yeah, it was an employee, and
she fell asleep.
Yeah, she fell asleep.
10 hours.
With nobody.
Yeah.
Nope. She did this unsupervised. You don't do this they won't let you.
Right.
There's regulations, and they're all smart operators anyway. So if you go to a cryo sauna, that person is literally, by the way, just so you know, they can't see into the sauna to see you naked. You can wear outer clothing too. It's not like don't be freaked out by that. But they're there.
I'd be worried to wear clothing in there if it's negative 210 degrees Fahrenheit. What's going to happen to my clothing?
It's fine. I mean, I wouldn't wear Victoria's Secret,
Is it going to shatter?
No. It's 3 minutes.
Waka waka. When are we going to get Brandon on?
Let's call him up.
Dig it. Let's go.
All right. Kitty, we're back, and we've got him on the phone. This is we don't do this often on the episodes where we break down a WTF, or what do we call it?
Bullshit or benefit? Benefit or bullshit?
Benefit or bullshit. And in this case, cryo. We don't always have a guest, but we do if we can think of one. Like we had Brad Johnson on for the kettlebells.
Yeah, be rad.
Because I knew him, and I know this guy. I know more. We have a mutual friend. My mutual friend's name is Lane. And Lane, I called Lane up and I said, "Hey, Lane, you've owned 2 cryo businesses for 5 years." He doesn't anymore. He got out of the business. I think I mentioned that already.
Yep.
And he goes, "Well, I can't do it, but Brandon Johnson could." And I'd met Brandon once years ago. So, hello, Brandon. How you doing?
Welcome.
How are you guys doing?
Thanks for your time, brother. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. So I guess, here's what I know about you, Brandon. When I met you, I think you were an employee or a partner of a cryo business by Lake Calhoun in Minneapolis.
Bidé-Makaska.
Mama
Yep,
named Mama
absolutely.
named him Clay. I'm
That's
going to
what
call
you
him
said
Clay.
last time.
But now you own your own in Richfield, a suburb of Minneapolis, right?
So yeah, I've always owned my own. I was the
Okay,
first one to open up in the Midwest.
gotcha.
Congratulations.
So I'm 10 years going on almost 11 now. So
Okay, that's right. You did own that one by yourself. My apologies. I just thought that,
No
but it
problem.
moved out of there, which was probably smart.
Yeah.
So now you're in Richfield, and it's called. It's a great name, Serial Chillers.
Serial Chiller.
So good, Brandon.
Well, real quick, how did you come up with that name? Like, was that your idea? Or were you just sitting around? Were you in the shower? Like, how'd this happen?
No, so I was originally Therapy of Champions,
Ooh.
and people would always compare me to a TRIA or TCO.
Got it.
You know, when I said I was from Therapy of Champions, they always assumed that I was a traditional physical therapy, which eliminated quite a large group of people if they were, going to TCO or TRIA, or going to see a physical therapist. They'd automatically kind of eliminate themselves from being one of my clients because, those are the prestigious kind of physical therapy companies.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to find something that kind of stood out and at least would make people look. And I was at a Tony Robbins event, and it
Nice.
literally just slapped me out of nowhere, and I was like, Serial Chillers would be awesome.
Yes.
And I just went with it, changed the name, and said, let's make it happen.
It makes
And
me
it's
want to
been
go
really, really good.
just because of
Yeah,
that name. It
absolutely.
makes me want to try it.
Well, speaking of Tony Robbins has been a longtime proponent of cryotherapy. And am I right? I think that's
Yes,
accurate.
absolutely.
Is that where you first heard about it? I mean, you started 11 years ago. I mean, nobody knew about it. People don't know about it now, as you know, Brandon.
No, I was actually down in Arkansas. I played in the NBA's developmental league when it was still the D League. And I was just, chasing my basketball dreams when I found cryotherapy. Dallas Mavericks was one of the first teams that had started using cryotherapy on a regular basis. And that's when I was introduced to it. So I tried it out at a place down in Dallas called Cryo USA, and I fell in love with it. I was like, what in the world is this whole proactive world? Which I wasn't aware of. I used to hate the chiropractor. I used to hate, different modalities that they would have us do because I felt like it never stuck. Like I would get adjustments, and as soon as I'd move, the adjustment was gone.
Go right back. Yep.
As soon as I was, playing again, I'd be like, okay, well, it's exactly where it is. So when I found cryotherapy, it was one of those things that instantly helped my inflammation. I literally slept that day right after a treatment, and I woke up and I played basketball for about 6 hours. And the only reason I stopped is because there was nobody else to play with or pass me the ball.
Okay.
So I was like, what is this? And that was how I started.
Okay, gotcha. So I want to, because of time, I want to kind of jump into, who's it for? I mean, let me start by saying this. It seems like it's in a lot of professional teams have it in their space.
Yes.
NFL, NBA, probably, all those teams. But you have one in a suburb of Minneapolis, and so you're
Yes.
catering to non-athletes. Well, I mean, athletes, I suppose, are welcome to come, and they should come, right? But
Yep.
other than athletes looking for recovery and inflammation stuff, who else is it for?
Well, I'll put it like this. Unless you are a person that for some reason does not build up inflammation, cryotherapy is for you. And I'm just going to be 100%. Inflammation is one of those things that we all fight with no matter what we do, whether it's from sitting around too long or you're working out extremely hard and you're tearing muscle fibers. It's one of those things that everybody faces. So my youngest client is literally 12 years old. My oldest client is 93.
Awesome.
I split up my demographic about 47 to 53%, female to male. And it's kind of been like that the entire time I've been doing cryo. Now, different things happen where, you may see cryotherapy on the Kardashians. So I end up with a bunch of people that are coming in because they heard, they could
If
burn
Kim
a bunch
does
of
it, I can
calories.
too.
Right. Burn a bunch of calories or, they want a cryofacial or whatever else not. But in general, there's just a huge market for those that are looking to always kind of put their body into a recovery state. Look at cryo as the catalyst for like forcing your body into a natural recovery mode. So kind of remove the whole aspect of it being an ice bath, because it's not. It literally will treat your body completely different than what an ice bath will, because you've never frozen the muscle fibers, but I can still force the emergency response in order to utilize nutrients.
Well, that's what I want to
Wow.
talk about.
Raise
I want
your
to get into the
anti-inflammatory
science of that. I know you're kind of going there, but so what would you say to somebody who said, "Well, yes, I understand inflammation." Even a doctor, this is even medical professionals. And I'm not trying to challenge you, but the FDA doesn't approve this for medical, procedures. So
Right.
it's one of those things where if somebody says, whether they're a novice or they're a medical person, says, "Well, just put ice on it, just do an ice bath," that will stimulate, enough to reduce inflammation. Your response back is
Efficiency. So when you are in an ice bath or use an ice pack, you actually freeze the muscle fibers. Yes, some of the same mechanisms are accomplished, but it takes more work for your body to actually heat up that area to a place where it can actually utilize nutrients than it is with cryotherapy. Because with cryotherapy done appropriately, you never freeze anything. It is the perception of cold that creates the aspects of your body trying to first protect itself, utilize those nutrients, and then raise all of those anti-inflammatory proteins, and you still end up with that endorphin release. So say your body has to use a ton, when you get into ice bath, your body has to use a ton of energy just to create the heat in order for your body to, warm back up and properly move blood. With cryotherapy, you never start that process of freezing anything, but it allows for the proper blood flow, and it allows for your body to actually go into that state on its own without any wasted energy.
Sure.
And I always, what I've known about it, and I said in the earlier part of the segment of this podcast before we got you on, is that it's not a one and done. This is something that needs to be done ongoing, especially for people who have the chronic. I always think of people that are non-athletes, because that's most of the world, that have that have chronic pain or pain or different kinds of pain. And you get, so just because of time, again, is 2 to 3 days a week, is that enough? I mean, is that recommended? Once a week's probably not enough, right?
So 2 to 3 days a week is recommended. But even on that, I always tell my clients that you will want to take off within a 6-month period of time. You'll want to take off a couple weeks in between there. And the only reason that is because the body always wants to adapt. So when you are getting into this routine and you're not actually activating that emergency response, you lose your body's not doing exactly what it needs to, because it's used to it. It's like we kind of stay in this Goldilocks zone most of the time,
Just right.
But when you can get your body to always incite that response, that's all you're really looking for. And so cryo is more of a catalyst for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what is the actual temperature below zero again? Is it negative 212?
So we get negative 220. So anywhere from negative 210 to 220. At negative 190, you actually start your body's emergency response.
So because I on the earlier segment, I talked about my 2 experiences and how it's not, I would never call it comfortable, but I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable. It's bearable. It was 3 minutes. Now, I don't know if that's the was that what, was that what you do? Do you do 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes? What is
No, we do 3 minutes. So I use nitrogen. I'm a huge proponent of nitrogen cooled chambers, which you can get into, some arguments with people depending on if they want to use electric or not. And the electric ones, they say, hey, we can stay in 5 or 6 minutes if you want to. And so that'll vary. But 3 minutes using nitrogen is kind of that golden zone. Sure. Where you can really get the most response for the body without the extra wasted energy.
I guess my point is it's not that bad. What I mean by that is, anybody who's apprehensive about being that cold, it's not that it's 3 minutes, but it's not the same 3 minutes as holding a plank. It goes by
definitely, or sitting in an ice bath.
It goes by fast enough,
right?
Absolutely.
Wow,
this
is
somebody that's
freaking
there
rad
with you that can hold conversation. I mean, it goes by real fast.
And it's always supervised. You don't have to worry about anybody, falling down and whatever. I mean, it's safe. It's super safe. And I know you do other services there, but we really just want to talk about cryo. We can have you on again and talk about some. Do you do cool sculpting at your
facials?
I do facials. I do not do any cool sculpting.
Okay. But you do some red light therapy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Hey, cryo, check it out.
Check it out. Indeed. I will.
You can go to the, I suppose.
Can I come and see you,
Well,
Brandon?
actually, I know your website because
Absolutely.
I checked it
you
out.
Guys show up, I'll take care of you.
We might do that because then we can talk about it on the podcast.
Let's do it.
What's the website?
Serialchillers.com.
Yeah,
Boom.
serial chill, or just Google serial chillers, which is what I did.
Stupid cool name, Brandon.
Anything?
Very, very
we got to
impressed.
run, Brandon. Appreciate your time. Anything you want to end with?
No, just, find a maintenance routine and take care of yourself.
Boom.
That is like my number one.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for your expertise, Brandon. We really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks for your time, dude.
Thank you guys. Have a great day.
Take care.
too.
Bye.
So that was cool. I'm glad we called him. Don't you?
I'm definitely going to try cryo now.
Yeah, I told you that, because now you listen to that first part, and, it's that whole, I'm the science guy, I'm the skeptic, and I'm always going to be.
The science guy.
And yeah, and that guy gets way more flack than he should from a lot of people. But, that whole, what do the doctors and medical professionals say? Has it been studied and, the efficacy? But I think it's one of those things where it just takes time. Like, I don't know what to compare it to, like, from 30 years ago. But,
Sure.
There's got to be something I could come up with where it's like, well, we used to think no big deal, or this wasn't that.
Well, and it sounds like you said, with the Dallas Mavericks, and they're the first team that started the cryo. It's taking what they were already doing,
Yeah.
ice bath style, and making it much more effective and quicker.
It just seems like, we're getting a lot of this in this country of recovery or pain type of like, for example, massage,
Yes.
infrared sauna,
Huge.
red light therapy, cryo. I'm sure stretch lab now. I think you could put that in that category. We can't stretch ourselves, and
Reducing
I should talk because I
inflammation.
don't. And it's all about feeling better. It's not this, but it's different from go on the treadmill. Here's where I'm going. I wonder how much of these things wouldn't be necessary if we didn't have 44% obesity.
42.4 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Up 26%.
Going up tomorrow.
Since 2008. Holy schmoly.
Yeah.
Those are some numbers, man. So, like he said, just find a routine and start taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game.
Yeah. Well, hey.
Well, thanks for having your friend on. I appreciate that, man. Very cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Hey, what's the next topic? What are we doing?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
We'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just did 5Ks. That was cool. I like that one.
Yeah. I'm doing the reindeer run. I'm going to do the 5K, I think.
Yay, jingle jangle.
My sister, it's how nuts.
Are you going to wear bells,
No.
please?
No, but it's how nuts she is. Blooming Prairie, you know where that is. It's going to be an hour and a half, hour and 20. She's going to drive up just to run it and go back before her kids get up on that day.
That's awesome.
It's
Good for her.
I'd never do it,
Well,
but I'm not going to turn down.
To each their own.
Yeah. All right.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to try cryotherapy. Let's do another podcast, and I'll tell you the effects. I'll tell you if I dig it or not.
All right.
Easy?
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
See you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Peace out.
Bye.